Alright guys, welcome back from the weekend. It's September 4th, 2017, and today we're going to go over all the latest developments in the crypto charts. Well, in the States it's a Labor Day weekend, so everyone have a happy and safe holiday. I don't know if that's going to affect the crypto markets, but we have a lot going on in the world that is. We have China rejecting ICOs, we have the conflict in the Korean Peninsula. Will that help Bitcoin or hurt Bitcoin? People say things on both sides. All we can do is look at the technical charts. That will give us a clue, that will give us a prediction of the future price of Bitcoin. Now, we have had a huge crash in almost every currency in the last few days. So if you have stops and your stops were hit, you need to get out. So set your targets and set your stops and stay true to those. If you don't follow your own rules, then you're going to get run over by the freight train that is a crashing Bitcoin, because these things are violent. And let's start with Bitcoin US dollar on the daily chart. Now I want to start with this daily chart because it's really not that bad. If we check out this upward trend line that I've drawn connecting the lows since July, we climbed over 3,000, we ran up to 4,000, we blew out 4,000, and we hit 5,000. So we went up, we almost doubled in price in a couple months. So that's a pretty huge run. It's totally normal to expect a pullback, and we haven't even broke this trend line from July. So we've just bounced off that trend line until right now. We're kind of running up against that trend line at around 4,400, 4,500. That's also a support level from August. That 4,500 level was a big level, and we broke that and we hit 5,000. Just like I predicted, and just like I predicted, we saw a pretty violent pullback. A lot of people were waiting at 5,000 to take profits, and that's exactly what happened. Now the question is, how low do we go, right? Do we break this 4,400 support level? Do we break this upward trend line? Do we fall all the way back down to 3,000? If we break that trend line, if we break 4,500, there's a huge space here, a huge pocket of air that could be filled, right? We call that an air pocket. And that basically just means there's no real support or resistance in that level, and so a price can pass quite quickly through that level. And if we fall into that air bubble, then we could easily see prices go down to 3,000. Now that would suck, right? Because I have entered some positions around 4,500 because there's a support level there. But if we break that level, then I certainly could see us possibly heading back down to 3,000. And like I said, that would really suck, but I certainly don't think it's the end of the world for Bitcoin. There's no reason why Bitcoin should not continue its upward trend. And that's why I wanted to look at this daily chart, because remember, we use moving averages to get a handle on the trend, right? And here's the 200-day moving average. That's something that's often used in stocks and other securities to gauge whether a trend is up or down. If we're above that line, the trend is up. If we're below that line, the trend is down. And we can see this 200-day moving average just trucking along and heading up. And of course, sometimes we get a little ahead of ourselves and we get a little too high, so we come back down to that moving average. We get a little too high, we come back down to that moving average. We extend a little too far and we pull back down to that moving average. And right now, we've extended pretty far again, so of course we're kind of due for a pullback back down to that moving average, which could be around that 3,000 level by the time we reach it. So it's certainly not out of the cards, and it wouldn't be a bad thing. To be honest, it would be a healthy thing. If you're hodling Bitcoin, if you're a hodler and you're going long on Bitcoin and you believe in the product, then this thing could easily get up to 10, 20,000 within a few months. But a little pullback is not to be unexpected. Would I get short here? No, I wouldn't get short. I don't think many people get short, because it's like running in front of that freight train. The price is probably going up. The trend is up. But I might take my profits, sit on the sidelines, and wait for a good setup. So that's why I wanted to show this Bitcoin chart. It looks pretty strong. I mean, we're almost at all-time highs. So when the media freaks out about a 500-point pullback, which is about a 10% pullback, well, I mean, if we look only in the last months, in June all the way to July, we had a 38% pullback. So it's nothing compared to what we've seen all along. So just hold on to your pants, stay calm, and look for good entries, or hold it for a longer term play. And let's just drill down to the 60-minute quickly, because I want to give you some perspective on those support levels. You know, if we look back to the 14th of August, which was only a couple weeks ago, right, we were playing on that level, right? We were bumping into that resistance level. Here we had resistance, here we had resistance, right? We kept coming up to that level. We tried to break it 1, 2, 3 times, and finally on the 4th time we broke through. 4th time's the charm, and we ran up to 5,000. And then at 5,000 immediately we saw a pullback. So that pullback is so quick and so violent that I would certainly expect what we had here at around 4,500, right? We had a pullback and a sharp reversal to make another attempt. After that, we did pull back again, and we tried again, and finally we broke out. But we made multiple attempts. So either this is the end of Bitcoin, everything's over, it's all finished, you know, pack your bags, leave town, move on, gold rush is over, or this is only a lull in the storm. This is only the first wave, the second wave of this Bitcoin speculation bubble. You know, we could easily pull back here to 4,400 and bounce back up to 5,000 to give it another attempt. Will we break 5,000 then? I don't really think so. You know, 5,000 is such a huge level. 5,000 is a big number psychologically, technically. So to break that level, it's going to take some time. But I certainly expect us to bounce back up and retest, and maybe bounce along this trend line, you know, fall back even and head back up again. And maybe second, third, fourth time that we test 5,000, we break through. Now, the reason I'm spending a lot of time analyzing Bitcoin today is because what I realized this weekend is that all the coins follow Bitcoin. I mean, when Bitcoin crashes, everything crashes. That's the big lesson of this weekend, right? When Bitcoin crashes, everything crashes. Now you have to remember that a lot of these derivatives, or a lot of these tokens or coins like Monero or PivX or whatever, they're all based on Bitcoin, and other coins are based on Ethereum. So if these coins are based on Bitcoin and Bitcoin crashes, then you're going to see a crash in all of those coins. But when Bitcoin recovers, you're going to see a recovery in all those coins. So it's kind of like, if you know stocks, Bitcoin is like the SPY, right? The S&P 500, it's the main index. And then you have these altcoins, which are like the Russell 2000 small cap index or the NASDAQ tech index. And when the S&P is doing well, when Bitcoin is doing well, then these other coins are doing even better. So these other coins are a great way to leverage up your exposure to cryptocurrencies. When Bitcoin is doing well, check out the other cryptocurrencies and see if they are doing well against Bitcoin. And you can invest in those and increase your value of Bitcoin, right? At the same time. But when Bitcoin is crashing, these other currencies are crashing even harder. And so, you know, I try to stay away from those guys when Bitcoin's crashing. So that's why I'm not really going to do a huge analysis of all the coins today and really focus on Bitcoin. I'll just, you know, we'll just take a look at Ethereum, because that's the number 2 market cap here. So if we check out Ethereum US dollar, we see kind of a similar pattern as to what happened in Bitcoin. We'll check out the dollar, the daily chart. You know, Ethereum, I mean, look at that rise. Oh my gosh, 2017, it's been insane. It's gone from 12 to 300. That's an insane run. There's no reason why anyone should not be happy with that run if you've been in it. And it ran up to, around 390, 400, fell back to 150 and ran up there again. And that was the play that I've been talking about on my blog. And lo and behold, same thing as Bitcoin. We hit that target and poof, we just crashed right back down. we're already back down to 300. So pretty violent pullbacks, you know, very highly volatile assets. And where will this end? Well, based on the previous move, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we fell back into that range, 140, 150, and maybe we made another attempt at that 400 level, and eventually we could break through. Now again, if Ethereum collapses and the whole infrastructure is a piece of junk, then yeah, we could just crash right back down to 65 or lower. But right now, it looks like we're just in a range, right? We met our resistance once, we met our resistance twice, we have a support down here at 150, so all likelihood we're going to come back down, retest that support. And then that's the question, do we bounce up or do we break down? But right now, it's not a good entry point because we're at the top of a range and the pot odds are to the downside, not to the upside. If you buy now, you can make a very small gain or you can make a very big loss. So it's not a place to enter. So cool guys, it's good to be back. Please leave me a comment, send me a message. Thank you again to Crypto King for sponsoring these daily chart updates. You can find the latest news at cryptoking.org. It's a great resource. I love it. And please make a donation, guys. Send me a tip if you like my work. If you're making money with my trades, I really appreciate it. It helps me continue my analysis. Keep up with me on TradingView at tradingview.com and join some of my affiliates down there, Coinigy, Coinbase. If you want to buy some Bitcoin, join Coinbase. Use my links. I get a little cut and it helps me out. So see you tomorrow, guys. Peace.